Hello and welcome to live coverage of the Guinness Pro12 clash between Munster and Edinburgh at Irish Independent Park. I'm Andy Burke. I'll be describing the action for you from our studio in Glasgow. It's a match neither side can afford to lose as they look to secure a top 6 finish and a place in next season's European Champions Cup. Edinburgh stick with the back three combination of Blair Kinghorn at fullback and Damien Hoyland and Tom Brown on the wings. Andrea Strauss lines up at inside centre, so Matt Scott moves out to 13. The front row of Dickinson, Ford and Nell will be the bedrock of Edinburgh's forward effort once again. Highly rated youngster Jamie Ritchie lines up in the back row alongside John Hardy and Cornel Dupree. Well, Edinburgh haven't tasted victory in Cork since 2004, and these Munster players will be desperate to maintain that sequence tonight. Twice champions of Europe, they want to be playing among the cream of the continent again next season. Well, after a slight delay, here come the Munster players, led out by captain CJ Stander, to a great ovation from the home crowd who know exactly how important a match this is for their heroes. Take a look at the Munster team, shall we? They boast 3 British and Irish lines in their back division, with Simon Zebo at fullback, Keith Errolls on the left wing, Connor Murray at scrum half, Johnny Hollands at 10, with Francis Saili and Rory Scannell making up the centre partnership. 2 of the outstanding figures of the Ireland back row are on show tonight, with Tommy O'Donnell at open side and of course captain CJ Stander at number 8. The referee this evening is Ian Davies from Wales, and we're just moments away from kick-off here in this most crucial of Pro12 encounters.
CJ, good. Ross, okay. Where's you going, Johnny? Right. Okay. Time on bottom, please.
To be the Munster fly half, Johnny Holland to get us underway. Puts it high into the sky, and it's a bit messy from Edinburgh, but they managed to get it back in their own side. It was Tom Brown underneath it, just managed to pat it back, couldn't take it cleanly. The important thing was Edinburgh retained possession and they're in control. Sean Kennedy at the base of the scrum, at base of the ruck rather. That's a good box kick, takes his team right up beyond halfway and eases any early pressure.
This is middle, okay? Ready, you come in.
I'll scan all the man who will put it into the Munster line out, and that's a clean ball at the back. CJ Stander takes it on, and almost a break there. Rory Scannell came into the line at real pace. The offload just didn't go to hand. But Blair Kinghorn tidies up for Edinburgh and gets them on the front foot. Sean Kennedy feeds it out, and it's Nell making the hard yards. Clean ball again, Toby, and it's moved wide along the line. John Hardy's out there. Edinburgh making good yardage from this attack. Ben Toulis making a few yards again, but it's slow ball for Edinburgh.
That's fine, she's here, no problem.
Through the hands again, Tom Brown knocked back the way. It's Toulis again, he's had his hands on the ball a couple of occasions, but I think he's been turned over. There he has. Conor Murray spots his gap in behind, but it's well anticipated by Tom Brown, who gathers and feeds Kinghorn. He takes Edinburgh back up towards halfway. Kick ahead off the left boot of Tovey over the head of Stander, who makes a meal of that. And all Andrew Conway can do is get bundled into touch. Not such inspirational play from Captain CJ Stander. But it gives Edinburgh a good attacking platform. The line out inside the Munster 22. It was good vision from Toby to spot the gap. Good kick.
How many wide?
6. It'll be an Edinburgh ball. Ross Ford put into the line out. That's well taken from Toulis. Edinburgh get them all going. John Hardy at the back there. And it's certainly going the right way from an Edinburgh perspective.
That's 1, 9, that's 1.
The referee urges Edinburgh to use it. It's back with Kennedy. Taken up into the line by Andreas Strauss. Well, Dupree knocked backwards there. Edinburgh still with it. And not forward.
Advantage red, knock on white.
So that's disappointing from an Edinburgh perspective. Really promising situation. It was young Jamie Ritchie who fumbled forward. Kick clear from Zebo, but he's not found touch, and again it's Kinghorn underneath it. That was a heavy collision there with Conor Murray, and Kinghorn still down. Murray got up pretty gingerly as well. Still Edinburgh come forward. Kennedy sniping, looking to go himself.
He's attacked the ball, he's fine.
Brown acts as scrum half. Anton Bresler making the hard yards in his 50th appearance for Edinburgh this evening. Here they come, Tovey finds Ben Toulis. Matt Scott getting in there, doing some dirty work, but no gap to be found there. WP now, always a willing outlet in the loose.
That's fine.
That looks to be turned over again. Again, Edinburgh have squandered a promising situation. Alan Solomons will be disappointed that they've not looked after the ball a little better at the breakdown in these opening exchanges. Certainly had more of the ball, more of the territory. They've come away with nothing up to this point. Now Munster look to go from deep. Andrew Conway back into traffic, bundled back the way. Conor Murray taking control again with the box kick, plenty of height, he wants to chase on it. And it's taken well. Andrew Conway gets a better of that aerial duel with Tom Brown. You can hear what that means to the Munster fans. Ball not coming back. Does eventually for Conor Murray.
Timing's fine.
Johnny Holland just get the kick away in the nick of time. Tom Brown having to sweep round, but he's not getting much support there, and that'll come back on a red side. Edinburgh scrambling to get back. Munster pummeling at the line. Dave Foley. Now it comes wide.
Off your feet, wide away.
Edinburgh need to get organised here. Holland goes wide. Conway, the offload. That's try number 1 for Munster. Rory Scannell over at the corner. That's a beautiful offload from Andrew Conway. And really, Munster's first serious threatening of the Edinburgh line, and have taken their chance.
Okay, thanks.
Too many numbers for Edinburgh to match up out wide. Scannell left with the easiest of finishes. Well, Edinburgh may feel they've only themselves to blame for that, from turning over possession in Munster territory and then failing to deal with the clever kick over the top from Johnny Holland. Now he'll look to add the extras from out wide. Fans like it, and they've every reason to. That's a fabulous kick from the touchline. And Johnny Holland stretches the Munster lead to 7-0. Edinburgh on the back foot already. Back underway, and the kick was long from Edinburgh.
Tackle! Tackle!
Conor Murray goes high with the box kick. Not much distance on that at all, but bobbling around in there. Must have been a knock-on in there somewhere.
Not? No, I wasn't sure. Okay, red, definitely forward. Scrum, white.
Well, it was hard to tell who knocked that ball forward. I think the referee was, like the rest of us, struggling to call who had knocked it on first, but judged it was a red hand. Edinburgh get the scrum. Hearing that Treviso are leading Connacht 19-14, which has implications for the top 4 challenge.
No, let's get stability.
Would
Guys,
be a huge boost for Glasgow Warriors.
This side's in, that side's not. Same mark again.
A bit of an assumption that both Warriors and Connacht would register victory over the Italian sides this evening. Glasgow still 0-0 with Zebra in the early stages at Scotstoun. What a surprise that would be if Connacht were to slip up against Treviso. Still time there though.
Bind.
Glasgow and Connacht of course meet on the last day of the regular season. Back to the action in Cork. Scrum Edinburgh. Becomes such a weapon with that much vaunted front row. That was Messi at the back.
I didn't think your side then.
And Sean Kennedy didn't pick the ball up cleanly, knocked it on, and we now have a Munster scrum.
Yeah. Guys, here if you need to be higher, okay?
Well, you would imagine Alan Solomons would have preached the importance of avoiding unnecessary errors, and Edinburgh have made a few already. Been a match for Munster in terms of possession and territory, but a few turnovers at key moments, a few sloppy handling errors have seen them 7-0 down, but
time off, Brian,
plenty
please.
of time to get back into this one.
6 of you, come here.
Yeah.
Sorry. Guys, like we spoke beforehand about the need for stability, okay? We're having this message early on, it's only 10 minutes into the game in the second scrum, okay? Let's work hard at stability. Clear? Yeah? Go.
A very civilised talking to for the front rows. Will be a key battle as this match goes on. The Edinburgh front row has become such a weapon.
Shoulder out a little. Thank you.
Dickinson, Ford, Nell, club level, and perhaps even more so for Scotland over the past year or so. Can they give Edinburgh a crucial advantage up front this evening?
Quiet, please. Quiet.
Big men. Edinburgh get the nudge, but CJ Stander gallops off the base of the scrum. No time for Edinburgh to get the push on the scrum. Stander was away. Edinburgh were backpedaling. Now they come wide. Siley looks for Simon Zebo. The dancing feet of the Ireland international. Taken up by Stephen Archer. Holland drops deep. Spots a gap over the head of Tom Brown. It's a favourable bounce from Munster. Kinghorn. It's a mighty boot on that. Quick
out.
Line out. Another up and under, and that's well taken.
Taken in white.
The left boot of Tovey goes long again, but doesn't find touch. And Saili just about taken down at the second attempt by Ben Toulis. Conor Murray appealing to the referee. Tackler wasn't rolling away. Play allowed to go on.
Nigel, anything there? Brian, do we need to look at that?
The referee wants another look at that tackle.
Linus form. Brian?
No, we need.
Sorry?
Go ahead.
Do we need to check anything there?
No, I think you're okay.
Okay, thank you. Let's play. Just happy.
Referee
Checked
and
it, fine line.
touch judge happy to carry on. In fact, that knock to Blair Kinghorn has resulted in him going off. It's Dougie Fife who's entered the fray. Blow for Edinburgh, but Dougie Fife, plenty of experience, Scotland international. It's a very slick line out from Edinburgh. Taken up there.
Hands away, 8. Leave it.
I think that's John Hardy who took that into contact. Now they come wide, and that's a great line. Matt Scott, has he got support? Decides to hold on to the ball, perhaps wisely. Pass wasn't on. That's a loose ball from Kennedy.
13.
Well, Edinburgh get the penalty, but they might feel
Offside,
it could have been
13
so
red.
much more. Lovely break from Matt Scott there. Sliced through the Munster line.
Sticks Ross?
Pretty wild pass from Kennedy. Tovey juggled with it a bit, but the momentum was lost, but they bring it back for the penalty. Tovey will elect to kick at the post and register Edinburgh's
Say that again.
first points of the evening.
I hope so. Ross, okay?
Also, just key engaging, the tight head key engaging a bit more.
Okay, I'll watch it.
He was a prolific point scorer for Dragons, and he gets Edinburgh up and running here this evening. Stroke between the sticks from Jason Tovey. Makes the score Munster 7, Edinburgh 3. Edinburgh will be relieved to get on the scoreboard. They've had enough ball in the danger areas. Finally come away with something, and that's gone straight into touch from Johnny Holland.
Ross, option. Option. Scrum.
Edinburgh like to go for the scrum.
Let's go this way a little. Come on. Just have a little bit more distance your side, okay? Back the last time you two.
101C6956, which is parked in a disabled space on Kent Road. Please remove it immediately or it will be towed away.
Crouch! Bind. Set.
The force of the impact there can be heard, and perhaps not surprisingly, the scrum goes down.
Okay. Red 3, just work to get your feet under your body, okay? Yeah.
Stephen Archer, the man identified by the referee as perhaps being the cause for that scrum being collapsed, but not intentionally.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Kennedy feeds. Scrum very stable.
Use it!
Ball comes back. No problem. That's a loose pass again from Kennedy. Service to Tovey, not great, but Edinburgh still managed to make something of it. Nice offload from Strauss to Scott. Centres linking well and come back the other way.
Sorry, 9.
And switch the play again. It's Scott in possession. Look at the power in the legs. Driving the tackler backwards. Gaining momentum for Edinburgh, as does John Hardy. That's a better ball from Kennedy. Tovey. Strauss cuts back inside.
Tackle!
Away from the touchline. Sets it up there, Bresler. Slowish ball. Tovey looks for the gap and he's through! And he's all the way to the line! An opportunistic try from Jason Tovey.
No, okay.
Sold the dummy.
Try.
And stepped the fullback as well for good measure. Beautifully taken try from the standoff. It was slow ball when it came back and just sold the dummy. Spotted the gap inside Stephen Archer. That's a lovely step to finish it off. Completely wrong-footed Zebo. Opportunist try there from Tovey. Big boost for Edinburgh. So Edinburgh take the lead at 8 points to 7, and with a fairly straightforward conversion you would imagine they'll go 10-7 ahead, which they do. Tovey adds the extras and Edinburgh leads by 10 points to 7 after 19 minutes.
Scored and converted by number 10, Jason Tovey. Munster 7, Edinburgh 10.
Well, with moments like that, you can see why Alan Solomons was keen to bring in Jason Tovey on loan from Newport Gwent Dragons. Just come up with a big try for Edinburgh there. Holland with the long restart gathered by Jamie Ritchie. Edinburgh just looked to consolidate that try by keeping the door closed at the other end, but CJ Stander's got other ideas. A galloping run from the captain. And wide it goes. Straightened
Watch
up
that shoulder, Tommy, please.
by Niall Scannell, the hooker. Saili looking for that step again. The All Black. Niall Scannell again. The hooker getting around the park to good effect. That's a penalty advantage. Keith Earls will use the advantage to chip ahead, but anticipated by Tovey. Will be brought back for a red penalty.
Away, quick, away.
Referee Ian Davies wants the tackler away from the tackle area quicker.
Post.
So Munster may well have the opportunity to draw back level here almost immediately, and just what Edinburgh would have wanted to avoid, having taken the lead. Concession of a kickable penalty. Anthony Foley, the Munster head coach, under a bit of pressure lately. Last season's finalists
Yes.
not quite performing as to how their fans would expect from them this season. Champions Cup qualification, an absolute minimum, you would imagine. Johnny Holland with the chance to draw Munster level. Well, he brought that round well. Looked like it might creep wide initially, but drew it in. Excellent penalty. Levels things up at Munster 10, Edinburgh 10.
Penalty for Munster after 21 minutes of game, converted by Johnny Holland. Munster 10, Edinburgh 10.
He puts it high, but into the arms of Holland. Stander again, making the hard yards, the captain.
Tackle!
Tommy O'Donnell, the Ireland back row,
Take him back, Rad.
doing his bit to get his team going forward.
Wait. Okay, go.
Dougie Fife failed to kick well. Almost loses his footing, taken down by Saili. Bresla into contact.
You're taking on. No, you're doing too. Penalty advantage, White.
Tovey looking for the crossfield kick. Anticipated by Zebo. Was he taken in the air? The referee's going to bring it back. I think Tovey knew the penalty was coming Edinburgh's way. That's why he elected for the crossfielder.
Close. It's terrible, isn't it?
The referee judged that the retreating defender perhaps took an unnecessary route back to his own side of the ruck to impede the Edinburgh attack. Niall Scannell, the guilty party. So, Jason Tovey with a chance to nudge Edinburgh back in front. And the flags stay down. First miss of the evening for Jason Tovey. Scores remain level.
And just to remind boys and girls, we're very proud of our tradition of silence for all kickers here at Musgrave Park, in the Irish Independent Park. Thank you. In both parks.
Fielded by Breslan, Edinburgh. Up on the Munster 10-metre line, wide it goes. Ben Toulis. Big long legs pumping into the tackle. And Scott stepping one way and then the other before taking the contact. Not making himself an easy target. Toulis is chopped down in the tackle. Edinburgh have numbers in this attack, and Dougie Fife coming into the line with good effect. Moved along, Willem Nell. Tovey goes wide, the pass was just behind John Hardy. He's done really well to wriggle out the tackle. And ball knocked forward from Damien Hoyland, who's not seen much of the ball so far, and perhaps it told there.
Scrum.
Again, Edinburgh's handling, just checking their momentum. But certainly when they get the ball moving along the line, particularly through Matt Scott, they look to have the tools to unlock this Munster defence.
Good work last time, you two. Let's work again this one, okay?
Well, these two teams can barely be separated in the Pro12 table, level on points. And they're level on points here in this match after 25 minutes. And their encounter at Murrayfield earlier this season went down to the wire.
Legs underneath you, please.
Munster edging home by 2 points, but Edinburgh had a drop goal attempt. Sam Hidalgo Klein
Problems this side. I'll stay here for this
into
one.
added time,
Please, the two of you.
which failed. Could so easily have snatched the victory for Edinburgh. So
Paul, come and watch 3 here for me.
very
Thank you.
evenly matched, whatever way you look at it. These sides.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Conor Murray feeds in it. Edinburgh get the nudge on, but again, Munster obviously been working on getting that ball out the scrum immediately, and they're moving it wide. And he thought that pass had to go, but it's well played from Andrew Conway. Chipped ahead. Can Zebo gather? Simon Zebo in the corner. Well, from one end of the field to the other, for the second time in the match, Munster attacked from deep. It was really clever play from Andrew Conway. You thought he had perhaps erred by not releasing Zebo earlier, but he sucked in the defence, chipped the ball over into space, and Zebo, the predator that he is, gathered the ball to dive over. British and Irish line showing his class there. He's got Andrew Conway to thank for laying that on. Very clever kick, beautifully executed. Munster lead 15-10 with a kick to come. Rather get under that kick, it's nowhere near the post, so light relief for Edinburgh that the damage is minimised, but they now trail by 5 points, 15-10. They have been exposed by these sweeping attacks from deep from Munster. The kick in behind is a tactic that's reaped dividends for the men in red so far. Perhaps the withdrawal of Blair Kinghorn through injuries led to a little uncertainty in the Edinburgh back three. Very clever tactics from the home side. That's well fielded. Cornell Dupree, a bit swarm of red jerseys round him, and he'll need to get rid of that quickly. Just about gets it back on his own side. Challenge behind the gain line, but shows great power, low centre of gravity to get himself back over the gain line, make a few yards for his team, and that looked to have come forward off an Edinburgh hand.
Not gone into touch, you got an option, Red? No option? Okay, sorry. Scrum only, sorry. My mistake, it touched the red player. It's only a scrum. Scrum, red.
The ball's spent plenty of time in the air, both sides looking to employ the up and under.
Time off.
It was Dougie Fife that challenged Simon Zebo. Got his hand to the ball first, but just couldn't gather. If you're just joining us, Munster leading by 15-10. Munster took the lead through a try from Rory Scannell. Jason Tovey hit back with a penalty for Edinburgh, and then Tovey scored a wonderful try, exploiting a gap in the Munster defence, selling the dummy and skipping by Simon Zebo to put Edinburgh ahead. Converted it himself, put Edinburgh ahead at 10-7. Johnny Holland hit back with a penalty, and in the last few moments Simon Zebo crossing for Munster's second try to put them back in front. Elsewhere this evening, Connacht are back in front against Treviso. They had trailed and things were looking a little hairy for them there.
Time on.
Glasgow Warriors are leading 14-5 at Scotstoun against Zebre. So both those teams doing their part to set up the final day shootout. for a home semi-final next weekend. Back to matters here, and again Munster happy to attack from deep in their own territory. Holland's running at the line and making a break. Sold a big dummy there. He's got support on the outside from Keith Earls. Comes back inside. Into traffic. Quick ball here, and Edinburgh might be in trouble. Sahili goes down the blind side. Edinburgh defence furiously trying to reorganise. Managed to slow things up there.
He's through the ruck.
A mighty scrap for the ball there. Munster edging towards the line again. Pick and go from Stephen Archer. Now they go wide. Dave Kilcullen. Back it comes Stander. Big number 8 pumping the legs. He's almost at the line.
Was a floor.
Referee judges he's held up over the line. CJ Stander. No mean feat to bring the South African born back row down. Real danger signs for Edinburgh there.
What's that?
It's a beautiful break from Johnny Holland initially, sold a massive dummy. And from then on, Edinburgh were backpedaling, trying to reorganise. Look at Stander pumping the legs. Edinburgh desperately trying to get hands underneath. Just about managed it. These are testing times for Edinburgh. Don't want to be falling further behind before the break.
Steve, swing a scrum here for that. What's that?
Some Glasgow Warriors flags in the crowd.
No, let's go this way. We'll go the other way.
Surprising, given that Warriors were the team that defeated Munster in last season's final, but there you go. Perhaps just to noise up their Edinburgh counterparts somewhat. The home fans are sensing this could be a big moment for their team. Since that Zebo try, they've gone into the ascendancy here.
Crouch!
Brilliant attacking position.
Bind! Set!
And Edinburgh certainly looking to get the early shove on there.
Two things. Time off, Bomber, please. Two things. Let's not transfer the weight, and let's not push early either. Okay? Yeah? Let's go. Let's come this way then.
Well, Edinburgh obviously want to disrupt this Munster scrum as much as possible, but must be careful they do it by legal means.
Shoulder out, please, man. Thank you. Crouch! Bind! Set!
I'd imagine CJ Stander at the base of this scrum will be licking his lips at this prospect. Indeed it is the number 8, but Sean Kennedy's on him, all over him in a moment. Did well the scrum half there, didn't let the Munster captain get up and running at all there. Just extinguished any sort of momentum at source. Still Munster in possession. Tommy O'Donnell.
Tackle!
Conor Murray finds Holland. Rory Scannell into the line.
Not held.
It's a quick ball. It's the other Scannell, Niall, his brother, taking it in the hooker. Holland with a step. Nobody on his shoulder, or he could have been in. Here's CJ Stander offloaded. Must be a try, surely, and it is. Andrew Conway crosses for Munster's third try. Well, he set up the second one for Simon Zebo and he's helped himself this time. Just stepped away from a couple of tackles from Sean Kennedy and Jamie Ritchie, powerless to stop the wing going over there. Now Munster's lead looks that little bit more commanding at 10 points. 20 points to 10 they lead. And Edinburgh really will need to find something, and very quickly before this match gets away from them. Six minutes to half time, and Alan Solomons will want to get his troops into the changing room without any further damage, although it could be a 12-point gap if Johnny Holland can pop this over. Well, the groans will tell you that that's not going to go over again. Again it falls short, just scooped to the attempt at goal, but overall it's good news for Munster. Andrew Conway try has put them 10 points to the good, 20 points to 10. Their third try of the half. Jason Tovey gets things up and running again, and Edinburgh really need to spend some time down in the Munster half and slow this momentum that's building in the red side. Errol's with a audacious chip kick in his own territory. Gathered at the second time of asking from Edinburgh, wide to Scott, who looks to chip ahead for Tom Brown. Simon Zebo there, the good step, which is his signature, but the offload caught Niall Scannell by surprise. He loses it forward. Scrum to Edinburgh. Well, looked to give Al Dickinson the eyes, but I think he
time off.
Rather wrong-footed his own teammate there, Simon Zebo. Not the most sympathetic pass. Does that elaborate bit of footwork caused an injury? Zebo grimacing in pain. Munster fans, and you'd imagine the neutrals, will want to see him stay on the park. He is something of an entertainer, the Ireland wing. 25 caps for his country. Joined the British Lions tour of Australia, rather. Called up as an injury replacement in 2013. But he's in a bit of trouble here.
They're loading it all the time.
Yeah, I was.
All the pressure's coming on.
He'll be a bit happier with what he's seeing.
Dave.
Don't think Alan Solomons will feel similarly.
The weight on the bike. Okay, let's stay off them. And I've had it over there tight end. I'll drive through the mark as well. Say that again. I don't want you to transfer your weight on the bike.
Simon Zebo moving rather gingerly, but looks to continue as the rain begins to come down in Cork. Handling that a little bit trickier for the players.
Time on Bomber.
Now, how Edinburgh could do with taking something before half time, just to narrow that gap. Sean Kennedy feeds. And it's a messy scrum, but
one coming straight across,
caused by Munster. Ian Davies rules. Willem Nell looks happy with his job there, but a bit of afters. Anton Bresla getting involved. Niall Scannell.
Shot.
Not taking a backward step either.
Sorry, man.
Not really been that
Should we use
kind
the
of
Rodney
game
Gray
so
now?
far, but
I'm
the
not standing
stakes
this
are
up.
so high this evening. It's understandable that things will come to the boil at some stage. But the upshot of that is Edinburgh with another kickable penalty. Tovey did miss one from this sort of range with his last attempt, but how his team need him to pop this over now? Well, it's made it over just about. Such a lazy language style, Tovey. But he got his yardages just right to clip it over the bar in between the posts. And the much needed 3 points for Edinburgh brings the score back to Munster 20, Edinburgh 13. Johnny Holland will get us back underway. Great height in that kick, but that's well taken from Toulis in the air. Box kick from Kennedy. Again, it's Stander, and he's not the man you want running at you at full pelt. Bounced off the challenge of Ritchie.
Tackle!
O'Donnell. Another back rower doing his bit. Forward comes Dave Kilgoyne.
There's the ball. It's red line on that ball.
That's a good tackle from Cornell Dupree. Just knocked the Munster attack back behind the gain line. Oh, and it's a very sloppy bit of handling from the fly half, Johnny Holland. Doesn't look to be too much wrong with the pass from Conor Murray, but you can see the conditions there. The rain's coming down. We may have to expect a bit more of that as the match wears on. Certainly fizzed with a bit of pace, but I'd expect Holland to have taken that. Not that Edinburgh were complaining, and there's Stander. Really is a
Come on, let's go, 9 please.
frightening sight in full flight if you're lining up a tackle on him. Just the 5 caps for Ireland, having only recently become eligible, but already seems to be a key man
Crouch!
for the Irish team.
Bind!
Certainly impressed against Scotland in the Six Nations.
Wait!
Scoring a try that day as Ireland rounded
Paul,
off their
your
Six
side?
Nations campaign with victory over Scotland in Dublin.
Yeah, come in line in, Paul, okay?
It's another Ireland v Scotland clash tonight, but at club level, plenty at stake.
Okay, thank you.
Both these sides aiming to put themselves in pole position for a top 6 finish.
Yes.
As things stand, Munster would jump
Crouch!
above Edinburgh into that sought after 6th place, which of course
Load in.
brings with it
Red.
European Champions Cup rugby next season.
Sorry, yes, free kick, yeah. It is,
Edinburgh plenty of time to turn this round. They've won a free kick from that scrum and decide rather than try and mount an attack from halfway, they'll kick it into touch and regroup in the changing rooms. Well, it's been an eventful first half. Rory Scannell's try put Munster into the lead. Jason Tovey's penalty brought Edinburgh back to 7-3, and then a marvellous try from Tovey, dummied and ghosted through the defence to score and converted the try himself to put Edinburgh 10-7 up. Johnny Holland's penalty levelled it up again at 10-all, and then Simon Zebo and Andrew Conway cost for tries for Munster to put them 10 points to the good. But another penalty from Jason Tovey has reduced the arrears, and the score at half time is Munster 20, Edinburgh 13. Welcome back to the live coverage of the Guinness Pro12 clash between Munster and Edinburgh at Irish Independent Park. I'm Andy Burke, describing the action for you from our studio in Glasgow. At half-time, Munster lead Edinburgh by 20 points to 13. A big result elsewhere in the Pro12 this evening coming out of Italy, and that is that Treviso have beaten Connacht by 22 points to 21. a big shock there. The league's bottom team beating the joint leaders. That's a big boost to Glasgow Warriors' hopes of earning a top 2 spot, and the home playoff semi-final that brings. Glasgow currently lead Zebre by 35 points to 10 at Scotstoun, having already secured a bonus point, so looking good for the defending champions here. Well, Edinburgh have had to try and stem the Munster tide towards the end of that first half. Quick tries in quick succession from Simon Zebo and Andrew Conway put Munster 10 points in front at 2010, but that and Jason Tovey penalty just reduced the arenas, bringing Edinburgh back within a converted try towards the end of the half, and they're certainly still in this match. As Kennedy looks for Tulis. Quick ball. Tovey with a missed pass out towards Cornel Duprea. Not seen quite as much as the ball as he would have liked. There's WP Nell. Tovey always willing to attack the line himself. Tulis looked for the offload, but there was nobody on the shoulder. It's back on the Edinburgh side. There's Tovey looking to go through the gap again. He's a constant threat with ball in hand. The fly half doesn't merely look to shovel it along the line, he looks to test the defence, and he did more than test it in that first half. He broke through for that fabulous individual try. Edinburgh's only one in this match so far. That's kept them in the hunt. And to Matt Scott playing in that wider position at outside centre this evening to accommodate Andreas Strauss at inside. Goes again. And in fact, there's looks to have been a change at half time. Chris Dean has entered the fray, and Matt Scott looks to make a break there. You would assume that Dean will partner
advantage, 3 not rolling away.
Scott in the centre.
And 13 over the top. He's in front.
And we also Stuart
Roll
McAnally.
Quicker, 3 and 13, then Kim followed him.
On the field as well. So Alan Solomon's looking to mix things up, using his bench. Well, it's a penalty to Edinburgh and a kickable one at that. And points on the board is just what they would have wanted early in the second period, to claw their way back at Munster. Things could get very interesting if this game is still up for grabs going into the closing moments.
Obviously it's a tackle. No, I know, hence the reason. No, appreciate that, but okay, that's fine.
And Tovey makes no mistake with a penalty. Brings the score back to Munster 20, Edinburgh 16.
Munster 20, Edinburgh 16.
Well, the kick from Kennedy charged down.
No, it's touched by Red.
Well, the referee shouted touch by Red, but it can't have been forward. Didn't bring it back. Tovey was there to touch the ball down. A bit of a hairy moment for Sean Kennedy there. Andreas Strauss is still on the park, so Chris Dean has come on in the wing in place of Tom Brown. Stuart McInally has replaced Ross Ford at hooker.
Tackle!
Wide it goes. Scannell taking it into contact. Back with Murray. Another Scannell. Niall.
Tackle!
Brought down by Cornell Duprea. Sahili. Stander coming back on the angle, but Anton Bresler was there to meet him.
Top, CJ.
A meaty challenge. Again, Holland goes to the sky with the up and under. Challenge between Eros and Tovey.
No, it's off his back.
Fair contest, says the referee.
Full weight. Okay.
Tovey goes long, but Simon Zebo behind it. The step from Zebo, and looked like half a gap might open up just for a second there. But brought down, but Munster are still moving forward. Here comes Tommy O'Donnell. Wide to Scanlon. Beg your pardon, Dave Kilcoyne.
Was that dropped down from...
I think Holland felt the kick was the only option as the ball slithered out of his grasp in the wet conditions. Referee was asking if it was a knock-on, but seemed to get the boot to ball before the ball hit the deck.
Yeah, this middle
wasn't the tidiest of passes, to be fair.
Still there, Dave. Very step. Hey, Dave, back, please. You don't need the call. Stay there, please.
No, look, listen.
Stay there.
Stuart McInally, the back row turned hooker, represented Scotland at every age grade as a back rower. Turned his hand to hooking and done a pretty decent job of it, you would have to say.
First one is in the air, then you're diving over the top.
Penalty to Edinburgh.
And then over the top.
A double infringement there, a tackle in there, and then straight over the top. Number 6, Dave O'Callaghan, the man penalised for bringing down Ben Toulis. But the kick to touch has not made touch, so Munster put the up and under up again off his head. Well, I think Willie Miller would have been proud of that header back in the day that Sean Kennedy just produced. Not sure how much intention there was behind it, but
when it crosses the plane, okay? Use the line in red. 6, leave him in the air now, okay? Sorry? No, I think it was 6, just pull him on in the air, okay? Yeah. Stay on the line in.
Ian Davies, the referee, explaining why
5.
Play has been brought back for a line out on the Munster 10-metre line. McInally nailed his first line out. And number 2 finds his man again, Toulis along the lines. That's a lovely inside ball, but telegraphed by Johnny Holland. They saw the runner coming. Edinburgh have a man down, but play rages on. Bresler takes the ball into contact. Looks like Tovey, the man who's requiring treatment. Not what Edinburgh need right now. Man marshalling their back line. They're working their way through the phases here, working their way up the pitch. Jamie Ritchie, the youngster. Well,
he's first man, no.
The referee
Get away, White.
Quite happy for that challenge at the breakdown. It's a turnover for Munster.
Leave him, you two.
It's a good tackle from Toulis, and it had to be, because if that went along the line, Edinburgh were short of numbers. Good double tackle there.
Tackle!
from Ritchie and Andreas Strauss. That's a good take from Damien Hoyland, but he's lacking in support. Munster furiously trying to turn that ball over. It's an almighty mess, and nobody can quite get a clean grip on the ball. Well, Edinburgh perhaps fortunate to get away with that.
Time off.
Anyone's guess who knocked the ball on first there, but Edinburgh have got the decision. But the high balls have been plenty this evening on both sides, but particularly from Munster. It's a tactic they've employed time and again, and they have got some success with it. Ben Toulis down. Edinburgh nursing a number of knocks now picked up in this game. As long as Edinburgh stay within that score, that converted try margin, they'll be confident that anything can happen going into the closing stages. As we're into the last half hour here at the Irish Independent Park. Edinburgh haven't won in Cork since 2004. Although it's a slightly misleading fact, they did beat Munster on their own patch at Thomond Park on the opening day of last season.
Set.
Referee not happy with that scrum, wants it reset. Jason Tovey seems to have recovered from that knock.
Guys, 6 of you come here, please. Dave. It appears to me that we're having a reset at every primary scrummage in the game, okay? Let's work hard, let's keep the scrummage up, let's keep it stable, and we play away from it. Are we happy with that? Okay?
Must be a frustrating job for a referee marshalling the two front rows, especially when you feel your message is getting through and then the substitutions start coming and you have to preach your message to a whole new audience.
Time on. Crouch. Bind. Set.
Sean Kennedy feeds. Down the front row. Well, it's twisting and turning all over the place, and you never like to see a scrum collapse in that fashion, twisting this way and that. But Willem Nell gets the plaudits and the pats in the back from his teammates.
Pulling down one.
We obviously feel he's getting the better of Dave Kilcoyne. Edinburgh have something to work with here. Platform to attack, line out just outside the 22. Edinburgh have been outscored by 3 tries to 1, but they've showed they are not short of threats out in that back line. Tovey
6 man.
Asking questions of the Munster line throughout this game. Matt Scott out in a slightly unfamiliar or less familiar position at 13. Has looked dangerous in that wider channel.
Advantage, Red.
But any hopes of breaking through for Edinburgh are extinguished with a handling error. A knock on, and it will be a Munster scrum.
Six wide, substitution. Come on, let's go in, guys.
So Jamie Ritchie will depart the scene.
Try harder.
Magnus Bradbury is a man who enters the fray. Scotland under-20 captain.
Crouch.
Well, good to see so many young Scottish players getting their chance. It was a criticism of Alan Solomons early in his reign at Edinburgh that the youth weren't getting a chance, but the likes of Bradbury and Jamie Ritchie, Blair Kinghorn, all made an impression in this first team this season. Stander again with Sean Kennedy all over him like a rash, and
it's unstable both sides.
Probably the best way to stop the big man.
Sorry?
Scrum half doing his job there.
Let's hold it, okay? No, it was
Stander
unstable,
has got up ahead of steam. He's really made a lot of ground, blasting his way through the Edinburgh defence, but Kennedy's done a good job marshalling him at scrum time.
Let's not chase over the mark on the set, okay? Crouch! Bind! Set!
Conor Murray feeds the scrum. Standers away this time, he is up and running. Tovey takes him down well. That gets the crowd up and running, they're not happy about something. Dougie Fife. For a substitute, Chris Dean.
Nothing, Brian, is there?
Munster takes the ball into contact, and that's been stolen right through the ruck there. Tommy O'Donnell.
TMO's in my ear, okay?
Well, he wants to consult with the television match official, John Mason.
Are we going back to check the high tackle, are we? Is that what you're coming in for?
Yes, we'll just have a look at the tackle. I'll put it up on the screen for you.
Thank you. Just checking for high tackle, okay? Okay. For me, he is high, he's around the neck, there's nothing more than a penalty in that.
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree.
And we're just centre field, just outside the 22, yeah?
Centre field, about 7 metres outside the 22.
Okay. It's just high, number 10. Nothing more than a penalty. Red, you reckon?
Well, we could hear the boos from the Munster fans.
It's high, okay? Number 10.
They weren't happy with that tackle, neither was the referee, but a penalty is as far as the punishment goes.
High tackle.
Deemed that that wasn't an intentional high tackle. Holland kicks a touch.
Red one. Sorry, Steve.
That's what I say, it's on the bind. We're not going to move forward.
Dave Kilcoyne departs the action to be replaced by James Cronin.
9. Okay, fine. Hold him, please.
21 Sam, the number 9. It's number 9, Sean Kennedy.
Sean Kennedy has done his part for today, and as we suspected, we thought we might see Sam Hidalgo-Klein at some stage, and here he is. Certainly a great option to have off the bench.
Tackle!
Scrum half.
No, let it come, Red, let it come.
We'll ask different questions of the Munster defence, that's for certain. Munster earned the penalty, and you can hear what it means to the home fans.
Corner or post?
Johnny Holland feels it's outside his kicking range, opts to pop it into the corner, or as close to the corner as he can get. He's actually just taken Munster inside the 22. But these are key moments in this match. You feel that the next score will be crucial.
Inside the 15 now, please.
Well, the referee felt that Bresler didn't roll away from the tackle area quickly enough for his liking. Rolling ball doesn't really get going. Ball buried in there somewhere, and you can hear the roars from the Edinburgh players as they turn that ball over. Bresler, the man who gave away the penalty, emerges from the bottom of the ruck. That is was a big boost for Edinburgh. You just feel the next score in this match could be the crucial one.
Yeah.
Munster get their noses further in front.
No transfer away.
Fancy them to go on and finish the job, but if Edinburgh can bring it back, then it really is up for grabs. There's so much at stake in the closing stages.
Crouch!
All it take might be a bit of magic, perhaps an error.
Bind!
And
Set!
the entire season of these clubs could change in an instant. Dalgo Klein, the substitute, feeds. And it's an Edinburgh penalty at scrum time again.
Number 3. On your knee, number 3.
And Alistair Dickinson, the man doing the damage this time. That was a big scrum and a big outcome for Edinburgh, and you just feel that they can begin to assert some dominance in there.
2.
Could really lay a platform to go on and winning this match.
2.
Number 16, Mike Sherry.
What are you going to say, CJ?
Number 2, Grant Scannell.
3 apparently, just a night. Okay.
Mike Sherry, the hooker,
White, he's down.
comes on to replace Niall Scannell.
I don't know if it's only about small, but if you're this side, that side goes down. I mean,
The problem I have, I can only be one side.
Perhaps an indication of wanting some fresh legs, fresh power in the legs to try and combat the Edinburgh front row, who are of course
Time is off, please. Brian.
so durable, although Dickinson will depart for Rory Sutherland. So Alan Solomon,
Let's just leave him. Let him leave the field, please. Okay.
utilising his bench.
Wait a sec. Let's just leave you properly the field. Okay. Paul, wait a sec.
WP Nell, the only man left from the original front row. Stephen Archer, the only remaining prop or front row for Munster. Nell, of course, been known to play all 80 minutes, almost unheard of for international front rows these days, but remarkable engine. Does the stout prop forward. You can just sense the anxiety
Outside the 15.
from the fans creeping into this as we watch these pictures coming in from Cork. I suspected this would be a tight game, and it's proving to be just that.
Let's use it now! Use it!
Sam Hidalgo Klein urged to use the ball. It's not a great pass, and Magnus Bradbury had to creep the back to get down to gather that. There's Ben Toulis galloping forward. He looks as if he's just come off the bench. Still a spring in the step for the lock. Christine acting as scrum half. McAnally to provide the service. Provides a slicker passing. His scrum half colleague did a moment ago, but that's better from Hidalgo Klein, and now they've got runners. Andreas Strauss, the big man on the charge. Tovia to get rid of that. Quick Sharp, who was under real pressure, as was Dougie Fife. Well, the home fans think he's held on to that far too long. Referee allows play to go on.
Tackle away, 7 red!
Bradbury manhandled there. James Cronin, his fellow substitute, with the tackle. Back come Edinburgh, and there's McAnally. Former back row, certainly of use in the loose, as he's shown there. Kick comes Hidalgo Klein. Hardy.
You put your legs either side of him, there's nowhere for him to go.
Dodge and weave and pump the legs to make a few yards. Looks like McAnally again. And a penalty on the Munster side.
22 white, side entry.
Christine penalised for a side entry into the ruck. more frustration for Edinburgh just as they seem to be building
Good
through
shot,
the
Paul.
phases.
Excellent, well done.
Give away a penalty.
Yeah.
Well, the scoreboard hasn't been too bothered in the third quarter of this match, just those 3 points in the second half.
White on the line.
Jason Tovey's
Yeah,
penalty.
On the line, okay.
Mike Sherry in no hurry
Mike,
to get
hurry
this
up,
line
What's
out
that?
taken.
Our own ball, boy, wet the ball for me.
Hurry up, please, Mike.
Mike Cherry complaining that his own ball boys are wetting the balls for him. Maybe it's a clever time-wasting tactic, who knows? That's a line-out steal. Back on the Edinburgh side, Tovey puts the ball into the air. Taken from Conway, who's got a try and an assist this evening.
Wait!
Along the line it goes, well, Stander's pass was just behind
nice.
his man.
Scrum. White.
Mike Sherry couldn't do much with that.
Okay. 4, Dave.
Perhaps that wet ball he was
Dave.
complaining about didn't do him any favours.
Substitutes on the Munster side.
Pass just slightly behind.
Place number 4, Dave Foley.
Okay. I don't need to go. It's fine. Let's go.
Dave Foley, the latest man to
Water off, please. No,
take
it's
his
fine.
leave. Robin Copeland
Yeah, we are, yeah.
into the action, the back rower.
3, step, please. Hey, let's not try and be clever now. You know what you're doing.
Although he'll go into the second row to replace Foley.
Time on.
Seconds.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Again,
Anything there?
we've not really witnessed too many scrums where the balls come in and out
White.
cleanly. Sam Hidalgo-Klein saying
We've
the
got plenty of stability on that scrum, so I'm happy, okay?
Munster front row
Well,
on
you're
his
6'4"
side
and he's
have
about
dropped to their
5'7",
knees.
so it's going to happen somehow. 5'8". Crouch. Bind. Set. Hold.
Can Edinburgh get this ball back and get the play moving? Well, it's a penalty.
Come off. CJ.
Another scrum
there.
penalty.
CJ.
Referee wants a word with the Munster captain.
We're having far too many penalties now at scrum time. Okay, if I'm one side, it happens the other. We're wheeling. Lots of things going on. All right, we need to improve our discipline at scrum time. All right. I don't need to talk to them. Okay, I'm quite happy with them. Pardon? Here's the marker.
Well, CJ Stander asking if the referee was planning to warn Edinburgh about their discipline at scrum time.
Mark,
Ian Davies' response: he's happy with what they're doing. Which will be music to Alan Solomon's ears.
Time back on, please.
Ideally, what they want to be doing is forcing
Post, yes.
more penalties at scrum time in kickable positions. So it's Sam Hidalgo-Klein taking over the kicking duties. Of course, their normal frontline kicker has to take it within 1 point. Well, he likes it, picks up the tee and quite happy Straight and true from Sam Hidalgo Klein. And we have a 1 point game in our hands now. 3 points takes it to Munster 20, Edinburgh 19.
Munster 20, Edinburgh 19.
Edinburgh doing their bit here. Glasgow are certainly doing their bit tonight. They're currently leading Zebre 63-10 at Scotstoun. Bonus point secured some time ago. And in an even bigger boost, they'll go second in the table tonight. That's owing to Connacht's shock defeat in Italy to bottom side Treviso. They went down by 22 points to 21. Glasgow, of course, will visit Connacht. They'll play them in Galway next weekend. The home semi-final, the prize on offer.
Stayed on the ball, must come away.
Glasgow, of course, now will go there. Above Connacht in the table, back to this match here in Cork. Edinburgh have hauled themselves back from 20 points to 10 down. Back within a point. But it's a Munster penalty and Johnny Holland can put that ball down into Edinburgh territory midway between Edinburgh 10 and 22. Nervous times for Anthony Foley. Well, I've mentioned it before, it was a close encounter at Murrayfield earlier this season. On that occasion, Munster escaped with a 2 point victory. Edinburgh had a drop goal attempt, Sam Hidalgo Klein, well into added time, which failed. Are we in for a similarly dramatic finish this evening? Munster hoping to get further ahead than that, and this maul looks to have an irresistible momentum about it as they creep further towards the line. Edinburgh struggling to halt the momentum. Stopped just short. And an Edinburgh scrum is awarded. What a relief. Fury amongst the Munster players. And a little bit of afters there.
There's a mauled ball, ever came back. White ball.
Never easy to tell what's going on in those rolling mauls.
I'm trying to get in the line.
Or indeed to know, certainly from a defensive point of view, where the ball is.
No, it's a scrum for you, okay?
But Mike Sherry was certainly involved. Must have rumbled on for all of 25-30 metres there.
Gone to ground, okay, therefore they don't have
Edinburgh
to
looked to be fighting a losing battle to keep them from crossing the line, but stop them they did. And they've been awarded the scrum.
Go on.
That's got the home support in full voice once again. We may just learn a thing or two about the character of this Edinburgh side now in these closing 13 minutes or so.
Either, okay? Discipline has to be good from all 6 of you.
Another big scrum close to the Edinburgh line. There have been a lot of big scrums, certainly in the second half. It's been a half of rugby so far that's been punctuated by the whistle of Ian Davies.
Crouch! Time on. Bind!
Just a 6 points scored. Penalties from Toby and Sam Hidalgo Klein.
You're clearly leaning through.
And again Munster penalised at the scrum.
Escalated to a penalty.
And they really have got on the wrong side of referee Ian Davies here. The Munster fans don't like it, but absolutely no doubt in the referee's mind where the blame lies for these scrums going awry. Edinburgh's problem is they've not had enough of those scrums within striking distance of the Munster posts.
Substitution. And number 4. Substitution. Okay.
And we've got another Edinburgh substitution. Well, a double substitution. Final 2 bodies
Brian
off the
Tyne
bench.
needs to be off.
John
Brian
Andres,
Tyne
the
needs to be off
prop,
now, okay.
who is
Number 3 red as well.
to join
Steve.
Munster
Steve.
in the summer. He comes on in place of Nell. And Alex Toulis enters the fray as well.
Wait a second.
John Ryan comes on from Munster.
Okay, time on, please, Brian.
Stephen Archer, the man to depart. So, no front rows surviving from the first whistle now. Edinburgh have used their entire quota of substitutes. Plenty of fresh legs on for this big sprint finish in these last 11 or so minutes.
Who's Paul? Paul, who's Paul? White Paul, okay. On the line, Red. James on the line, please, okay? On the line.
Just confirmation that was Stephen Archer who departed for John Ryan. So all the front rows who started the match now kicking their heels on the bench. That didn't look straight at all from Stuart McInally. Really frustrating for Edinburgh. Just seemed to lose it as he released the ball. I heard Mike Sherry bemoaning the wet ball. He was preparing to take a line out from Munster. And perhaps Stuart McInally get caught out by it there.
Ready, let's go!
Crouch! Bind! Set! And hold.
Now, this will be an interesting scrum given what's gone before, and that's exactly what Munster need to do. Get it out of there as quickly as possible. Keith Ennell's come into the line there. Seemed to rather lead with the arm, but no complaints from Edinburgh or the referee.
White move!
I beg your pardon, it was Andrew Conway off the other wing. Now that's a penalty for Munster. And they can get themselves down deep into Edinburgh territory again. Conor Murray, the man with the responsibility of popping it into touch. And he's failed to do it. Terrible connection off the side of the boot. Dougie Fife can clear. He's given that an almighty whack and gets the favour of the bounce as well, which evades Simon Zebo. Puts a Gary Owen up and straight into touch, and that is not what Munster need right now. In a 1 point game, such errors can prove crucial. Well, it was a double error really. It was Conor Murray, a missed touch by some way initially, and then Zebo compounded that with a fairly awful attempt at an up and under. Now Edinburgh have the attacking platform. Is this going to be one of those matches that is decided in the final moments? It was at Murrayfield earlier this season. Didn't go Edinburgh's way that time. And they turn the tables in the Irish province here. John Hardy with the ball at the back of the rolling maul.
On the side, 16.
Momentum is stalled somewhat. Now, can they get that ball back? Dalgo Klein having to bury in there and he can't get it back.
The same as up there.
The appeals are half-hearted from Edinburgh. They know that
5 metre line, okay? Exactly the same.
They brought that decision on themselves. The rolling maul after some initial momentum stalled. And when you don't get the ball back, put in will go the other way.
Let's go.
Glasgow Warriors
John, let's go, John.
are absolutely rampant at Scotstoun this evening. They are 70 points to 10 up against Zebre. The Italian side lambs to the slaughter. And Glasgow really look to be clicking into gear at just the right time of the season. Of course, went down to Wales and put 40 odd points in Scarlets last time out as well. Very impressive stuff from Gregor Townsend's men. Will Edinburgh be joining them in the top 6? If they're going to do so, they really must find a way to win this match. They're within a point, but can't seem to engineer an opportunity at the moment.
White 6 out, red 6 away.
It's another almighty battle at the breakdown, but comes back on the Edinburgh side. Tovey thought about the long pass out wide, instead puts the ball up in the air to his opposite number, Johnny Holland, looks for the chip kick, but gathered by Edinburgh hands. Again, they're shoved off the ball a bit too easily. The supporters, or the support at the breakdown, a bit slow in getting there for Edinburgh. And the turnovers are starting to mount up. And the penalty comes. The warning was there.
Off your feet, playing the ball, white 13.
Matt Scott off his feet at the ruck. The referee did urge him
On your feet.
to pull out. Didn't do it quickly enough. And it's another costly penalty. But in Munster elect not to go for the posts, and
Okay, red number 6.
the home crowd want them to perhaps finish the job here. Certainly a converted try would leave Edinburgh with a long road back into this game. It's a good line out ball. It's taken by Copeland and been fed on. Difficult to see who's actually in possession of the ball. Edinburgh fighting desperately
20 penalty.
to check the momentum, but they've conceded a penalty. Magnus Bradbury, the man at fault.
Yeah. Number 20, side entry.
Side entry at the ruck again. Edinburgh's discipline just starting to falter in these closing
20
stages.
swimming up the side.
And another interesting decision from Munster to make here.
Time is off, yes, Brian?
A successful penalty would take Munster 4 points clear, leaving Edinburgh to find a try to win it. Closing stages. Jack O'Donoghue is on for Dave O'Callaghan. In the back row for Munster. O'Donoghue, former Ireland under-20s captain. Well, the home crowd in fine fettle now with their side. Less than 5 minutes from victory, but it is such a slender lead that they hold. Single point. That's all they'll need if they can hold out. They're in the right area of the pitch. Edinburgh hope they can manufacture just one more opportunity to snatch victory here. But they'll need to survive this latest Munster onslaught. And the full-time score from Scotstoun is Glasgow Warriors 70, Zebra 10. The Italians will fly home with their tails firmly between their legs. That is an almighty hiding they've taken. And Warriors sending another message as if they needed to.
Side entry 20.
They mean business in their defence of the Pro12 title. Munster elect to go for the corner. They want to finish the job here. And you would have to imagine that a try now would do just that. You'd stake your money on a catch and drive and a clever feed from the front to the back of the line out, shifting the point of contact. Keith Earls is in there, the man with the ball. Towards the line, just short. The Little Island winger saw an opportunity for glory there, but couldn't quite power himself over the try line. Referee will consult with the television match official.
Try yes or no, please.
Try yes or no. Okay, we'll have a look.
Certainly didn't look a try in initial viewing. Nothing in the replay so far to suggest that's a try, although Earls does creep towards the line.
Huh?
Well, this is the angle that will tell us, if any. I have to say, I think it would be very difficult to give a try based on that evidence alone. But certainly not short, not too far short. If he is short, that is. Keith Earls.
Ian, that's all the angles we have. This is the best angle we can get.
Okay, it's up to you, Brian. The screen is far too far from you here. Brian?
Yeah, so on that angle, it's inconclusive whether he has reached the line.
Okay. No try, it's a scrum, red ball.
Well, Edinburgh escaped, but certainly wasn't enough evidence to award a try there.
You just watch your foot's coming up early in the scrum. Before the ball's coming up, it's splitting ages.
Munster will be quite happy down deep in Edinburgh territory. It's a red scrum 5 metres out, and you would imagine CJ Stander will be looking to get his hands on the ball here and have a blast at the Edinburgh try line. Munster yet to score a point in this second half.
Bind! Set!
They remain in front. Back with Stander. Taken down. John Hardy. Good tackle there from Andreas Strauss. And on the run. Well, at the over the line, it was Siley, and the referee awards a try. And it's right onto the post, and you have to imagine that that will tie things up for Munster. It was Francis Siley, the All Black centre, arrived at pace, and with that sort of powerful running so close to the line, it was always going to be difficult to stop. Got support from his teammates who drove him over the line. Ran from deep, really attacked the ball. And with a little help from his friends, driven over the line for what would appear to be the match-clinching try. Holland pops over the more straightforward of conversions. 8 points the difference now. 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Edinburgh require a minor miracle. Munster 27, Edinburgh 19.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Guinness Pro12 mountain match this evening is Andrew Conway.
Andrew Conway announced as the man of the match, and hard to argue with that. He's had a very important bearing on this match, setting up Simon Zebo for a try in the first half with a very clever kick ahead after a searing break, and then crossing the line himself for Munster's third try, of course. Other bad news for Edinburgh and good news for Munster, as that was Munster's fourth try this evening. So that secures them the bonus point.
Let's go, please.
And as we approach the final minute of action, a sense of inevitability as Munster look to have secured the all-important victory in that chase for 6th place. They will move 5 points above Edinburgh in the table, unless Edinburgh can muster something to take a losing bonus point, but that seems most unlikely. In fact, it seems more likely that Munster will add to their lead. They're on the front foot again. Murray fed out. Scannell feeds his centre partner, and the try scorer Saili. And that's a nice offload. John Ryan, the man on the charge. And it's another substitute, Jack O'Donoghue, with the fresh legs. Munster starting to punch holes in the Edinburgh defence. Murray. O'Donoghue. Tackle on Murray, well, it's kicked ahead. Touchdown by Hidalgo Klein. We're into added time after the 80. Referee says there's time for a restart. The most Edinburgh can hope to do now is to get into position to either get a try or probably more likely a drop goal attempt to save something from this match.
Okay, thank you.
But
advantage red, knock on.
Even that small hope has been extinguished. The ball is kicked into touch. Munster have the victory they so craved. Edinburgh remained in the hunt almost throughout, but it's hard to argue that Munster deserved that, outscoring the visitors by 4 tries to 1. Those tries came through Rory Scannell, Simon Zebo, Andrew Conway, and then Francis Saili's try, the all-important one that put a bit of daylight between the teams. Jason Tovey crossed for Edinburgh and also contributed 3 penalties and a conversion. Hidalgo Klein kicked a penalty for Edinburgh. But as Munster's night, this result takes them into 6th place in the table above Edinburgh. 5 points clear. That cushion will be difficult to overturn on the final weekend of the Guinness Pro12 regular season. Edinburgh host Cardiff Blues, Munster host Scarlets, and they are the Irish province within touching distance of the top 6 now. On a final score here in Cork of Munster 27, Edinburgh 19.